Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and running one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey, what's happening, Omari? Thank you so much for having me. As always, like you said, this guy hasn't seen. We trade things back and forth that one guy has seen, one guy hasn't. It's kind of like a movie club, book club thing. It's like that kind of thing where you watch it all on your own space and then you come together and you chat about it. I really recommend you do this. I haven't done this in a while. You tell people that you need to do this. You need to do this with somebody. Grab somebody, make them do it. Don't record it. Just go to a coffee house, phone call, text about it, Instagram messages. I think it's a really fun thing to do, and it's an easy way for you to get told to watch something, which we rarely get to do.
That is very true. Yes, that is right. And we are continuing our thing back and forth. We're on a kick right now with some real good classic films that need to be seen, that bring back the question, the idea, the show. And this week, I believe you have brought us Casablanca.
Casablanca from 1942, our new oldest film we've watched. I think so. A cynical expatriate American cafe owner struggles to decide whether or not to help his former lover and her fugitive husband escape the Nazis in French Morocco. It is directed by Michael Curtis. It is written by Julius Epstein, Philip Epstein, and Howard Koch, and it stars Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, and Paul Henrid. Omari, this is number 2 on the AFI Classic 100 list. It is one of those movies that is just synonymous with movies. I mean, it's hard to it's going to be in the dictionary of movie. You are an actor.
Yes.
This has legendary actors.
Yes.
Original building blocks of sound motion pictures here in this film.
So it seems. Yes.
Film beloved by some of our mentors, instructors, senseis, yes, in our artistic lives.
Indeed.
But yet Omari has not seen it.
I sure haven't. And, frankly, even though I knew all of those things, well, I didn't give a damn. One, because I got it mixed up with Gone with the Wind, which I also had not seen. I had pretty much equated the two movies in my head as movies from the 40s that were in black and white, that did not have. And now, it's not necessarily a reason I didn't watch it, but I assumed there wouldn't be many folks that looked like myself in the movie at a younger age. That was pretty much it. It was like, black and white. Back when, it was called black and white, but there wasn't but there was ironically not a lot of black people. I mean, hell, they called the movie White House. Anyway, Casablanca, House White. Anyway, bottom line is but all jokes aside, and me being stupid and not knowing like that the movies aren't the same movie, because I had heard people complain about racism, but I guess that was Gone with the Wind.
No, yeah, I mean, in so many ways, those two films, you're right, they are kind of synonymous with each other, and for no good reason at all, really.
Yeah.
This film is an hour and 42 minutes. Gone with the Wind is approaching 4 hours. This one is a film very close to the time in which it was made. Gone with the Wind is a period piece.
Yeah.
Um,
And I thought this was a period piece as well, but it's only a period piece because we're almost 100 years later.
right. Yeah. But you are correct. I mean, when you search this, when I search this on my media device of choice to rent it the other night, the first option was renting Casablanca. The second option was renting a dual package of Casablanca and Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
I I'm not sure of the reasoning why. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no shared director, there's no shared writers, there's no shared stars. It's two completely different films. They're made 3 years apart from each other. We're just we just we just we
We
just
just, as a
combine the two.
society, just said
Have decided
that's
that
what
they
these
are
are. They're the
that they're
same
a
movie.
1 and 2 of each other.
Yeah. They go hand in hand. So that's part of it. The other part was just, I don't know, to-do list. As with so many classics that we've covered on this channel, put on the ever growing to-do list. I'll eventually watch it. It's a classic. I have to. But do I really want to sit? Not that I've even really cared. It's never really bothered me with the black and white movies we've watched on this.
Uh-huh.
But the idea of watching a movie in
And there's a
black and
few
white
black
on
and
my
white
own.
films that we loved
Oh yeah.
back in our day in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. So black and white's not necessarily like, oh, I can't enjoy a movie in black and white. But black and white plus old, plus me thinking it's another movie, and me assuming that because it's old, it's about 4 hours. I just never got around to it. Luckily, it's only about just shy of 2 hours, like hour 40 or something.
Yep.
So yeah, that was even better. But yeah, that's pretty much why I hadn't. As to like what I was expecting. Well, aside from the I don't give a damn line, which I think got refuted after we went off the air last week, that would be in this movie. Because I was like, oh, I didn't make my I don't give a damn joke. Because I wanted to hit a line from the movie. Because every once in a while, when you'll suggest something I haven't seen, I try to reference the thing and just be like, oh, it's the movie with that. I don't know anything else. Or I'll be completely wrong and sing a song from a completely different movie. But that's part of the fun. But yeah, so I didn't know what to expect. I don't really look at the things. I assumed it would be a romance movie because if the romance trope for movies didn't start in the 40s, it wasn't gonna start. Also, with the whole "thank you, my dear, don't give a damn," or "frankly, my dear," not "thank you, my dear." Thank you, my dear, but I don't give a damn. Completely. That one. Um. Yeah. Aside from that, I had no idea. I wasn't even sure if it was gonna be Humphrey Bogart at that point because I'm like, yeah. But I was looking forward to watching it, and yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I guess reasons why I picked it are pretty obvious. We've already detailed them. Um, I would say I could give you a little bit of my personal connection with the film. I had seen it a few different times uh over the course of my life, just in like, like in the ways that I described to you of just like knowing that it was one of the classic of classics and seeing it at some point with the way my mother is. I'm sure she watched it at some point while I was around. Not to say I was necessarily watching it. Um, and so I know I had seen it a few times. And then at one point, um, I was out at my family's boon, just complete boonies country land that we have. Oh my God, yeah. Bill Bill grew up super rich. It's literally a trailer on some land out, you've been there at some point.
I'm sure.
Um, and then about a 10-minute drive away, there's a small lake that we can access and swim in. But it's, it's very, very minimal. Almost to the point where in my head I prefer to almost refer to it as camping. It's like a glamping kind of scenario.
All
But you
right.
do have power, um, and you do have a little TV. And back at this point, it was before nationally we had converted to completely a digital signal. And
Okay.
so we still had
Analog with the bunny ears.
the bunny ears. You had the bunny ears on top of the TV, and then we had another gigantic, basically just giant version of the bunny ears up on top of the trailer. And you could get a few channels. Um, so I had arranged to have my first weekend of I'm just out there with my friends, and there's no parents around or anything. I can drive on my own. I don't even know if I cleared it with anybody. I had my own car, I had my own time, and I had friends that also had their own means of transportation, and I went out there. Um, so I went out there early, and my friends were preparing to join me maybe a little bit more than 24 hours later. I get in, I pack up, I have a fine day and everything, and then it gets to night and it's dark and it's quiet, and I'm sitting there alone by myself, maybe smoking a little weed, and I'm realizing on this random Tuesday at 9 p.m., 10:30, whatever time it was, at this random section of mid-Missouri in the middle of the woods. It's like there is not a single human body within, like, I don't know, maybe like 40 miles of me in a circular
Yeah.
manner. So it was a very, if you've never had one of those moments, it can be very weird and interesting. And when you're on any kind of elevation substance,
Yeah.
things can elevate that as well. But all that said, it was a very interesting, powerful, emotional,
Yeah. Experience.
wonderful night that during it involved PBS, one of the three channels that could come through on this little TV, playing Casablanca, and me in the middle of the woods, the birds and the woods sounds, and just a little tiny screen playing Casablanca. It was it was just one of the most visceral moments I've ever had. And hard to explain, but because of that moment, this film will always have a weird connection to me. So I'm happy to pick it and get it out here for us to watch. Honestly, it's been too long. It's sat on the list for far too long.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you bringing it up. Oh my goodness, sorry. I appreciate you doing that, and I like that story. That's cool. It's cool to have that kind of connection with a film. So yeah, I guess hopping into it and initial reactions. Obviously, it had the classic, old school film.
Right. I love that. When that comes up, you're like, oh yeah, it's old. And my
Yeah.
wife Jen was like, "Oh, this is old, old." And I was like, "Yeah, this is old, old."
So that's always nice. He had the little narration, tell us what this is about, It's the World War II. You need papers if you want
We're
to
in the
get
middle of the World
anywhere.
War. Johnson says,
In the middle of the Second World War, and occupation. People flee France. They go to Marseille, then they go to so-and-so, then to Oman, then to Morocco and Casablanca. But then they could go to Lisbon, unless they get their papers. Otherwise, they have to wait and wait and wait and wait. Like he makes sure to put some like extra and waits on there, which was funny. But yeah, the movie, classic, like, opening, they set up everything, you get some expositional dialogue and stuff like that. um Eventually we start meeting our main character who runs a bar, saloon, underground type stuff, and he's
Yeah.
got this dude that's talking to him that uh he's like, yes, I'm into getting papers from people, but I'm clearly a shady dude that shouldn't be trusted, but I want to trust you with this. Anyway, Humphrey Bogart's like, fine, I'll take your damn papers. I'll put them in the fucking thing. But and a second he's like, agrees to take the papers, like, I don't want him here. Because he's a no nonsense guy. He doesn't want to stick his neck out for nobody. That's one of his things. I don't stick my neck out for nobody. I ain't covering for nobody at all. Not one bit. And everyone knows that that's just what he do. He does his own thing, and if you don't like it, don't mess with Rick. He's a very straight shooter. But that's why people can trust him. And do trust him with these papers. But the second he gave it to him, I'm like, those papers are gonna bite that man in the ass. That's going to end up being the plot point of the movie. He gonna get in trouble with the law and then get all mixed up with stuff. All sort of stuff. Then I saw the piano player and I was like, oh, I was surprised to see one black person in this guy, even if it was a musician. But yeah, he's cool. Sam, as we come to know his name.
Sam.
I like Sam. Yep. He's pretty cool. I like his performances. I like that "Knock on Wood" song. Knock on wood.
Yeah, Sam's great, and he gets one really good bit when he's trying to the two times he's trying to avoid playing as time goes by. The first time for Ingrid Bergman, and then the first time for Humphrey Bogart. They're just like, I don't think I know that anymore. Well, my voice is really my fingers are hurting.
He's trying to come up with every excuse. I don't think I know that one. It's so I don't want to do the thing. She can handle it. I can too. Wait, wait, damn it. But yeah, eventually the aforementioned she comes in, Ingrid. I believe what was
her
name?
character name?
Yes.
Is Ilsa.
Ilsa, yes. Yeah,
you have Rick, Ilsa, and then Ilsa's husband, Victor Laszlo. As well as Captain Renault and Major Strasser, the Nazi of the film.
Before Victor gets there and Captain Renault is telling him about this guy that they're trying to capture, we got a guy, Victor Laszlo. Oh, yeah? Well, I bet you he escapes again. They've already alluded to Rick being a man of mystery. So I was thinking this is some Kaiser Soze shit. And he's going to turn out to be Victor Laszlo in the big reveal. Yeah. I told you Victor Laszlo would escape.
Always trying to figure out the movie, Omari.
Yes, at least early on. At least early on, I'm trying to figure it out. I could just read the synopsis, but that takes away the fun.
Yeah.
But
real quick, we jumped past something that I wanted to stand out. Our introduction to Rick's Cafe American, I think, is just so cool. First, we have to talk about the fact that it's 1942 and they're doing these camera movements and things, these different shots. But you have a really big shot going from the sign and the out in the front, and a big wide shot that comes really close and starts looking inside the door. It doesn't go like full Scorsese and continue inside the building. we probably weren't at that technology level yet where something was on somebody's shoulder. We're still on like cranes and stuff. But after that, we go into Cafe American and start having these like 5 to 20 seconds at like 6 different tables. And these little moments at these at these tables feel so fleshed out and just good in their performance, in the writing of it, and everything, that any one of these conversations could be the rest of the movie.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Like, oh, so this is what we're okay. I should pay attention. This is what's okay. Okay, fuck that table. Oh, all right. So it's about these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, nope. All right. No, this whole opening shot is just to tell you, like, this is a place where people come to do shady shit and nobody bugs them about it.
Exactly.
Like that's what that scene is establishing, and it's just so good. It's so good that I wanted to highlight it real quick.
I also like the scene early on with the guy warning people about the fact that it's a shady city to begin with. It's like, oh yeah, you got to watch out for the people, vultures, vultures. I tell you, I'm like, oh, he's robbing that guy.
Oh yeah.
Vultures, especially when he kept repeating the word vultures everywhere, like vultures everywhere, everywhere. I tell you, everywhere. I'm like, okay, that's telling us the viewers he's robbing. He is said vulture, and that's what he's trying to get across.
Yeah,
And
that guy's a runner that keeps coming back throughout the film.
Yeah, I caught him near the end doing good again. I'm like, oh, hey, it's the vulture guy. But yeah, Rick is heavily established to be that dude in the area, at least by the way everybody talks to him and talks about him. Like,
Is this your first Humphrey Bogart?
Maybe he
Because
wasn't in.
Humphrey Bogart is established to be that dude.
Gotcha.
Like Humphrey Bogart is that dude.
Everything I hear about him, he's that. Like
yeah,
that's the
what I
reputation
mean,
he has.
well, whether earned or
Yeah.
not, you know, it's
Yeah.
a
Well,
Hulk
I
Hogan
mean,
scenario.
I'm just talking about films. I haven't heard anything about the man's personal life.
Oh no,
I'd rather
I'm
just
saying
enjoy this
I'm not
film
saying
for
a
what it
Hulk Hogan
was.
scenario in that way. I mean
Okay,
like
no, I'm just saying like
Hulk Hogan, like
yeah.
you know, he's the
Yeah.
biggest movie star with the giant reputation because we were told
No,
that that's what he was.
I didn't take it
Humphrey
that that's
Bogart
what you
is the
meant
same
by
way.
Hulk Hogan. But I
Yeah.
was just saying when you were like, well, I'm like, no,
I get you.
I'm just talking films.
But no, yeah, it's Humphrey Bogart is promoted in LA, in Hollywood at this time as
the dude.
the man. He is the man that all men want to be and all women want to be with.
Gotcha.
There's been, you know, there's a line of those men in the history of Hollywood, and Humphrey Bogart was absolutely one of them
Yeah.
at some point in that chain.
Yeah, him and everybody cracked me up with the 40s movie dialogue. I talked about it in like Some Like It Hot or something else. Maybe that wasn't 40s, but you know what I mean. Just that. I just love the like old style. Let's go back and forth conversation type deal.
Yeah, it's so fast. I had to put on subtitles. I had to put on subtitles in like the first set of dialogue because I was like, I can't keep. I gotta get the words on the screen. But I also love it. I mean, it's so because it's just so boom, 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 which we rarely do now. And I love that's my favorite stuff to do on stage. And so and really the only way you can get it now is by going to live theater or watching one of these ancient films at this point.
Films, yeah. But yeah, eventually Victor Laszlo and Ingrid come in, Ilsa, and she and Sam exchange a look, and you're like, oh, okay, they clearly know each other. But then when
Sam is like immediately concerned. He's not just sharing a look. He's like, oh fuck, some shit. Is that I was having a nice night tonight, and now this shit is gonna go off.
Came in at all. He just
Yeah. Yeah. It is painted on his face of like, this is not going to end well. And then he flat out tells her, he's like, no, you are
you
you are
mean bad
rotten.
news for
Yeah, you are bad news for him.
I'd rather you wouldn't be, if I could be frank, I'd rather you wouldn't hear it all, man.
That's it.
Just so like, damn. But yeah, she has to come over, says the line, play it again, Sam. One of many lines that came from this movie, as I came to know.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't say play it, Sam, or play it again, Sam.
Well, that's the thing. It's one of those morphed over time, Omari. Ingrid Bergman nor Humphrey Bogart never says play it again, Sam.
They never tell him to play it.
They never say play
Again.
it
They never say
again,
again.
Sam.
They never say play it again.
But everybody's quote that they refer to is play it again, Sam. And it's always for both of them, from Ingrid and from Humphrey, it's play it. Play it, Sam.
Gotcha.
But yeah, somehow it was morphed into play it again, Sam, even though there isn't even a scenario where they're telling him to play it back to back, which would maybe imply
Yeah.
an again additional word. Yeah, it's just one of those weird things over time. But this is the moment that is referencing that line is referencing, but it just never actually comes up.
Gotcha.
But God, this is an incredible moment. Especially when you know the full film, but like it's just the uh an incredibly beautiful song, an amazing performance by Sam, and then an amazing performance by Ingrid Bergman, topped off with that crazy Vaseline close up that they used to do in the 40s to these women to make them somehow just like look like angels. Like it all comes together for just a perfect moment.
Yeah.
Like I tear up in this moment. It's so good
It's
when he
done
starts
very
playing
well.
it and she's just sitting there. Like like the immediacy is happy she's won and forced him into playing it, and then it's like, oh right, this
I'm
song is gonna
sad.
make me real fucking sad. Yeah, it's so good, so good.
And Rick comes out, I told you never to play that song again. And he's just kind of like, what do you want me to do? She's right here. She said play it. I wouldn't go play this shit.
And all the gin joints in all the world, she had to walk into mine.
I'm not gonna lie, I had always assumed that was the start to a noir film because I feel like that's always the first thing motherfuckers go to when they do noir parodies is some motherfucker talking about a woman just happening to walk into his office
Yep.
to do whatever case.
Of all the
So
towns and all the world in this damn country, and all the detective offices, she walks into. Yeah, that totally happens.
yeah, so that's what I thought. But I'm like, oh, this is where that line comes in. That makes sense. And contextually, I can see why he would say that. He's like, I saw this girl and she swore she would never see me again. I done been sulking for the past who knows how long about it, kind of just hating life. And then she just so happens, of all the places they could have been looking for transit papers, to come into my store and tell my piano guy to play our song and remind me. Ain't this a
Yeah, the following scene is a really good one because Humphrey Bogart, in his typical Humphrey Bogart style, is always very understated. And this is really the only scene that he's putting in a lot. to this getting absolutely wasted scene before we start to flash back, and then once we come back from the flashback of them in Paris, I really like all of Humphrey Bogart's work in those moments in and around that when he's just getting fucking tanked. And he's like, "No, she's gonna come back. I know she will." And then she comes back and he calls her a dirty bitch. and she leaves. She's
Yeah, he
like,
does all
"Hey,
that. She's gonna come
the
back.
next day,
Are you the kind that
hey,
doesn't tell?
sorry about last night. We can talk now. I'm much less drunk." I don't want to tell you that I'm not drunk,
Maybe it
but
was
I
the
am
Morgan
far less
talking.
drunk than when we last saw each other. Like earlier in the film when the Nazi asks him what his nationality is, and he tells him, "I'm a
Drunkard.
drunkard."
What's your nationality? Drunkard.
Oh, which another thing that reminds me that I wanted to point out: the fucking camp captain just walking around to everywhere and ordering a bottle of champagne to the table and then leaving.
And saying, put it on my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, just put it on my thing.
did that like
Go,
6
table.
different times in one in like one 10-minute span of the movie.
The movie is a lot funnier than you would expect it to be, with it being this classic of go watch Pinnacle acting. Because no one assumes you're watching Pinnacle of acting to laugh.
For sure.
But it is a much funnier movie than you would expect. We're not gonna be like, oh, it's a knee slapper gut buster. No, but you'll get some laughs out of the things if you look at it. But yeah, so
What's your you want to just go into just
yeah, so
standout moments from here? What do you got next? We're at like around
I'm speaking of catchphrases, here's looking at you, kid. Him saying it like 5 times
oh
in the
yeah, in the
flashback.
flashbacks. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was his like thing for the two of them.
Yeah, whenever they toasted or whatever, just like, here's looking at you, kid.
Yep.
Here's looking at you, kid. So
His
I thought
movie
that
is
was
fucking filled with
filled.
one-liners that
Tons of
are
them.
locked into pop culture.
Yeah, I had no idea. Here's looking at you, kid was from it. Play it again.
The
Fucking,
gin
I think
joint
was a
line.
gin joint. There's one near the end that I wasn't taking.
The beautiful friendship one.
Beautiful friendship. Jesus, so many lines that I'm like, how many lines are from this fucking movie? Okay. Uh, so I thought it was so I like the dude getting arrested early on. Rick, help me, help! I feel like that guy, that actor, has been parodied for another role of his because I feel like I've seen that guy's face parodied in something.
Yeah.
If not from this movie, he's went on to do other shit and be parodied. But he was like, Rick, help me, help me. I feel like it.
I mean, he's heavily featured in Arsenic and Old Lace.
Of all things. Maybe that's why he's familiar. Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe it was a parody. Maybe
I know you
just
would have
in
seen
Arsenic
that.
and Old Lace. Yeah, that was a.
But no, he was an actor of the time.
Yeah. So yeah, him. I remember recognizing him. I like a lot of the work. I like a lot of the scenes with Renault and Rick together. I love their dynamic just with them talking. The corrupt cop with the dude, and he's just like, come on. Because clearly he doesn't like working for the Germans. He is because kind of has to, but because of laws and shit. But he clearly doesn't like working with them. And so he's like talking with Rick's like, "Come on, you got those papers, right? You just got the transit papers. I don't care if you do, but and I know you don't sell them to nobody. That's why I don't care if you do. But you got them, right? What are you gonna do for this Victor Laszlo guy? I mean, we got $10,000 on this, or francs. Sorry, to appropriate other countries' money. 10,000 francs on this. What are you gonna do? Blah blah blah. Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Wait a minute, you a sentimentalist? You don't like nobody. You don't help nobody. But when he tried to trick him into, I'm not sure if he was trying to trick him into revealing the papers, or see if he what the deal was with him recommending the couple to Rick to help out with the money.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, he told us to ask you. And he's like, he told you to ask me, huh? Come here.
Well, he told them to ask him if he's a trustworthy man.
If he's a trustworthy man.
He
Oh yeah. There was
because
that,
the
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's that's the part of Captain Ronaldo is not a good man in this film. I mean, Rick's barely a good man.
Oh yeah.
Laszlo is a virtuous man.
Yeah. Well, I said corrupt cop.
Yeah. I mean,
I
yeah,
mean, he
he's
calls himself a corrupt cop.
right. But yeah, the things he does to that young lady are pretty seedy. Um,
So he told them to go to him to get the money for the internment papers. Right?
I thought you were are you talking about our main couple?
Not the main
Ilsa,
couple.
right. No. So here's what's happening. They're already working towards the money for the papers.
Uh-huh.
Her husband is actively gambling for them right now, and he's losing badly. She has set up a meeting with Captain Renault.
Oh.
What we have not been told
Okay.
is what Captain Renault and her talked about privately. But then we know that Captain Renault has told her and her alone to go talk to Rick on
And
whether
ask
or
if
not the
he's a
captain
trustworthy
is a
person.
man of his word. And so that's why she's
Gotcha.
like, if I do this, will he follow through with what he says? And Rick's like, yeah, probably. But
Yeah,
he walks away in
probably.
disgust because
He
Captain
knows.
Renault is trading sexual
Yeah.
advances
Hence the
for
oh,
tickets. Yeah.
realizing that he said
Um
it. Or that's
uh
probably why he went ahead and let the other guy get the money to get it legitly.
exactly, because Rick is a great guy undercover. Like he's masquerading as a selfish asshole, but in reality, he's a sneaky, really good guy. And that's what Ilsa talks to him about most of the time. It's just like you're lying to yourself. Like you're in this fight just as much as we are. You're just doing it a different way.
Yeah, because they mentioned he served on armies actively fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Laszlo is the leader of the revolution and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about the couple, about Elsa and Rick as a couple, knowing that what's his name was in a concentration camp when they first got together. Now,
Mm-hmm.
granted, she thought he was dead,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, she did choose her husband over the random dude.
Mm-hmm.
But now she's trying to get back with random dude, and I'm like, no. Which I'm happy that, he eventually was like, "You getting on that plane? You getting on the plane with your husband?" I know what I told you. Get out of here. I also like their little exchange at the end. He's like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I love your wife. She loved you too, but that was a while ago. You were in a concentration camp. Last night you tried to pretend like you were still there. I let her pretend for a minute. Not gonna lie." He's like, and I let her pretend. But yeah, clearly, this is where I stand. You're with her. I think that's a good way to be like, hey, I understand things happened. Clearly, there was a misunderstanding. It's been cleared up as proof of good faith that you don't have to worry about me trying to fly to where y'all is to be like, Ilsa, please. I'm sending y'all out of here and taking the fall for as far as y'all know, taking
Mm-hmm.
the fall with the German military. Clearly, I ain't
A big
competition no
fall.
more.
Like, yeah, taking a lot of heat for them to get
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, so there should be no argument of, oh, this man want my wife or nothing. Like, no. So I thought that was a nice little, even though that's not why he said it that way, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
good mental
I feel bad
closure.
for Sam. Sam
Sam,
just
I
gets
feel bad for.
he just
I feel bad
abandoned
for.
Sam.
I feel bad for
Sam's his
Sam.
buddy.
I feel bad for Sam and also the rest of the people that like worked there that he was trying to set up with a old dude, with the new dude. He's like, make
Mhm.
sure these people get their thing and this, that, and the other. I'm like, damn, they're all just getting abandoned. Sam too, though. I'm like, you can't take Sam with you.
I mean, although Sam is getting the bag,
Apparently, because he did
I
tell
mean, yeah,
like,
we did reveal that Sam is already getting 10% of the profits for the nightclub. So he's a part owner essentially. And with the new deal,
it's 25.
Rick has set up, Sam gets 25% of the profits. So, and like that cuts back to earlier when the same guy is trying to steal Sam from Rick, and Sam and Rick's like, well, so hey, Joe wants to take you, Sam. What do you think? I like it here just fine. Well, he'll pay you double. I don't have the time to spend the money I make here. Man just loves playing his piano.
Yeah, I do like that. I like that little exchange where he's like, "Oh, you want Sam? I don't think he'll want to go over there. You know what? Let's ask him right now. Let's
Yeah.
get this bullshit out of here.
I mean,
You want
yeah,
to
I
join?
feel like
He'll pay you double. No,
as much
okay.
as as much as I have highlighted the other side of the scale, I feel like we have to highlight here, although clearly a diminished role
Oh no,
size
Sam.
wise, and the only member of the cast of a mind of to be black, um, he is painted as an equal in a lot of scenarios, in a lot of scenes. He's painted as an employee at
Yeah,
times, but he's
but
painted as
still,
a friend. And for this to be going on in 1942 had to be
yeah,
pretty odd in the film world. I mean, we just spoke of Gone with the Wind 3 years prior. Black people in that film are not painted with the same brush.
yeah. So I
Um,
heard,
Another reason why
which is
these
why
films
I
shouldn't be
assumed.
matched
Yeah,
together.
yeah, I had heard about them not being painted with the same brush, and so with me equating the two films in my head, in my forever, I'm like, why do I really want to watch this? I'm not the biggest rah racism person out there, but I get offended just like, well, not just like anybody else. I literally just said I'm not the biggest rah racism, but you get my point. I am
Mhm.
still a human being who is capable of offense.
Right.
And so it's like, I'm not in the mood to watch some like that. But yeah, Casablanca, Sam, like you said, he's treated as an employee, but still treated like a person. Not treated anything less than no one's like, get your damn.
And many times treated as a genuine friend
Yeah.
by Sam. So
Yeah, like where he like helped with the drinks and stuff. He's the confidant. He took him with him to travel and shit. Like, no,
right.
that's his. That's why I was like you said. I'm surprised he didn't take him with him at the end, or at the very least. Or
But he
yeah,
did set him up.
he did set him up. He is set as long as Ferrari honors
Right,
that
which there
because it
was
was a
there's no direct painting that Ferrari was necessarily an evil businessman or anything like that. Um he's
fair.
a he is a black marketeer, but so is Rick
That's why I'm like fair enough. Yeah,
on the side.
technically he's not depicted any more evil than Rick is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not shown doing anything different than Rick is either. So it makes and in the opening scene, we openly see him already willing to pay Sam double whatever he's making. So yeah, so it ends up working out for them. But I do I there is a part of me when when the captain and Rick are walking off into the fog and they're talking about how like, all right, so I guess we're gonna have to go on the run now. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
so you're never gonna see your friend Sam again.
yeah.
Like, does Sam know that?
Right? Did you ever tell Sam you were just leaving, even if you would have left with the old girl, Ilsa? Does Sam know this? Did you talk with him? Yeah, but no, there's a few good moments in the movie, but overall, like, yeah, oh, when they started pulling out guns and shit near the end, just everybody just turned around. Gun. Like when he's talking to girl, and then she's like, "I love you." I don't give a damn. I'm not giving you shit. Please, it's not for me. Give it for him. Do it for the revolution. No, I don't give a fuck about no revolution. Then I got a gun, motherfucker. You ain't gonna shoot it. And if you do it, you've been doing me a favor. Put me out of my misery. I can't. But then later in the movie, they're getting on the plane and stuff, and he's like, "We did it." Or no, not even getting on the plane. They're in the restaurant, and they're like, he's like, "You're coming to be arrested. Are you surprised about my friend Rick here? He's done so. Turn around, gun. You gotta listen to me. I got the gun now. Sit down. I don't want to sit down. Sit down, or I'll fucking shoot you. Given the circumstances, I'll sit down.
Yeah, another cool scene when the German army starts singing the German national anthem, and then all like the citizens of Casablanca drown it out with the French national anthem,
because Victor Laszlo just goes to the fucking band like, no, get that shit out of here.
which I read something that because they're looking for genuine accents and genuine foreign language in this film at this time in Europe, a lot of these extras and people in this town are World War II survivors and even Jewish people, Nazi escapists. And so they're like, there are things written about how powerful acting out that moment was for that whole crowd of people, and how
some
like
of them with the tears,
tears and eyes were genuine, and yeah, really. So it's just a really cool scene.
Yeah, I did like that scene. As such, I'm like, all right, dude just came in and said, let's shut these motherfuckers up. I did like Laszlo just pretty much being like, he's this guy that's escaped from the German Reich and all of this stuff and all this stuff. But he gets told by the cops, "Come meet me at the police station tomorrow. You see this German guy here? Meet me at the police station in the morning." And he goes anyway. Like he's bold enough to be like, clearly these people want to take me back to a concentration camp. I don't give a fuck. I'll sit there in his face and be like, "Motherfucker, you ain't got no jurisdiction here. Oh, you want to sing your national anthem? Fuck you. We're singing ours. Sing it."
Bitch.
I'm Victor Laszlo. I'm good guy Victor. How many good guy Victors do you know? None.
I write poetry, I think. Is that what they've said? That's what his like, that's what his revolution avenue is.
I've heard something about writing early on. I thought he was a writer, and then they started talking about him more as a revolutionist. So I'm like, maybe I misheard that writing thing. But he's got the charisma to just do this.
Yep.
Fuck y'all. Viva la France. Viva la democracy. Whatever they said. But no, that was cool. Yeah. I like how they searched the dude. Rick lets them search his place on purpose, and they still didn't find the papers. And what's the thing later? It's like, where the hell were the papers? Because
he was extremely confident about the hiding spot.
Yeah, he's extremely confident, and they were extremely confident about their searching. He's like, "Hey, we searched thoroughly." Like, oh, so he found it? His dude's gonna reveal, "I found your papers." No, so he's like, "Where were the papers?" Inside Sam's piano. Should have listened to more music or some shit like that. Like I never was a musician. Damn. Like it never crossed your mind to look inside the piano, did it? But yeah, that's I think that's just about
that's all I got, bud.
Definitely touched on everything. I took notes and I stopped taking notes after a while because I wanted to just enjoy it. But yeah, that's Casablanca. White House.
Casablanca. It was the winner of the 1944 Oscar for Best Picture.
Sounds about right.
It was also nominees for Best Actor to Humphrey Bogart and supporting role Claude Rains. And then it is winner of Best Director Michael Curtis and winner of Best Screenplay Julius Epstein, Philip Epstein, and Howard Koch.
All right. Yeah, yeah. It makes sense. It really does.
I think we're missing a nominee there for Ingrid Bergman.
I'll
Incredible
agree.
performance for her.
I will agree with that as well. I do think she did a fantastic job, but I'm not surprised it was a highly acclaimed film, especially given the time it came out in, being the 1940s.
You had Jennifer Jones for The Song of Bernadette, Greer Garson for Madame Curie, Jean Arthur for The More the Merrier, Joan Fontaine for The Constant Nymph, and Ingrid Bergman for Whom the Bell Tolls.
Bell tolls.
So she was already nominated this year, but not for
For
Casablanca.
Oh, okay. Well, at least her talents were recognized, even if not necessarily this performance. But then again,
Yeah.
this performance went on to be far more known than For Whom the Bell Tolls, to my knowledge. To my knowledge, if you say that, you're talking about either a Metallica song or like The Undertaker, or whatever book those two things are referencing when they say, "Don't ask for whom the bell tolls; it tolls for thee." At least I'm pretty sure that's what that's. There's a book that's from, or a poem or something. Do not ask for whom the bell tolls, for it tolls for thee. It's like some shit you're about to die or whatever. No, I didn't. Bottom line,
I'll tell you, it's not even listed as her known for
what?
films
Whom the
when
bell
you go
tolls.
to IMDb.
Yeah. So clearly, her Casablanca went on to do stuff.
Notorious.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Probably shouldn't be seeing them right now.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I love this
I
film
like
too.
Casablanca.
Great
It's
film.
a good movie. Yeah.
Great performances, classic. There's a reason why it's classic. Yeah. We're gonna have a tough award show for season 3 with all these heavy hitters.
What do you mean?
I'm putting out
Apocalypse
there.
Now, then Casablanca, and then I guess next week we do have another classic. I might as well go right into that.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this one. You actually have one of these AFI films to pass to me.
Yeah, it's the only. I think it's what, the second one out of the, like, compared to like the 20 that you've shown me. Hey, at least one of them was The Godfather. At least that was my one movie. But no, I have Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier.
Awesome.
So looking forward to that next week. I saw it a long time ago, but hey, I have to try to react to at least one of these classic movies with another classic movie. Well, I guess 2 at this point, because aforementioned guy. But yeah, anyway, you want to see more of us? We got a show on Saturdays called You Don't Watch Sports. 2 guys, 3 sports topics. Help you sprinkles a little casual sports conversation, information. Yes, there we go. Because I tried to throw in the word casual.
Word salad.
Because I tried to throw in the word casual, I fucked up the whole catchphrase. Help you, 2 casual people try to help you sprinkle some information into your sports conversation as we're your guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. There we go. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube under Whatever We Want Podcast. It's mainly backlogged episodes now, but it will be back after a short hiatus eventually. I do it with a good friend of mine, good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much, as nature intended. Yeah, we talk about just that. You can also find me elsewhere on Twitter and Twitch at Giotabi. That is Giotabi. Come on in. Stop on by.
Woo!
CEO soon. Probably going to be practicing a lot for that streams.
Mercedes Monet?
No. The other CEO that was once associated with AEW before they decided to say, we don't want to talk to y'all again, but we'll still use your pay-per-view name as a show on Wednesdays around the same time that you do CEO every year.
Sasha Banks.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna leave.
CEO, 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 CEO.
Adios.
CEO.